Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. How was everybody's weekend? Doing anything crazy? Getting into some shit? Yeah, neither did I. So, today I'm going to talk about something simple. Should be a fairly quick video. Some suggestions, opinions, and then at the end, maybe some shit talking. So, this weekend, and actually recently, I have been really drawn to GBA games. Now, if you go back, I don't know, 50 videos or so, I'll bring up the fact that when I was a kid, I didn't have a DMG. I had a Game Boy Pocket, a silver one, and I probably had 3 to 4 games for it. I believe I had Pokemon Blue, 007, Link's Awakening DX. I think that was it, actually. So 3 games for it. So that's what I had on it. And of course, I beat the hell out of Pokemon Blue. That was the first game I had for it. And then ended up, I don't even remember how I got 007. Played that, but I was a kid, didn't really understand the game. And then had Link's Awakening and played the hell out of that. So I didn't go past that. At that point in my life, a lot of shit changed, and I went down a road I shouldn't have. And my gaming was more PS1, N64, PS2 later on. The handheld stuff faded away. And then at one point I discovered Diablo 2 and my life was over for a long time. If any of you can relate to that, let me know. So I never really got to enjoy or test or even be involved with Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, DS, DSi, all that shit. Okay? Not until, way later. I mean, I'm talking within the last 10 years was the first time I've touched a GBA game, GBA, DS, things like that. Okay? I'm going to even go as far as saying the last 8 years. Now, since I've been in the emulation scene and getting into these handhelds and whatnot, when I first jumped into them, I still ignored GBA. I still ignored Game Boy Color, I didn't know any games, I mean, I did, but, obviously I know them, but I didn't try them, I didn't play them, I didn't have any favorites, I didn't have any I could tell you are good, I had no opinion on it. And when I started in emulation, I had a 350M. I focused more on Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1. Over time, you know how these things go, I started testing Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So some time ago, I fell really in love with Game Boy Advance games. I never realized how big the library of Game Boy Advance games, it's insane. Okay? So if you find yourself at this point in life and you're really getting into GBA games, this is who I'm making this video for. So you're into GBA games, you're figuring out that there's a huge library like I did, and now you're at this crossroad. What's the best way to play GBA? Okay? Now, I'm not going to give you the $400 response by this Neo device or whatever. We're going to go to the other end. I got 2 of my cheaper devices out, and I'm going to show you how I do things. And if you're just getting into this and you want to figure out GBA, these devices, you can get them. You can get them under what you would pay for a good Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Advanced SP, especially one with an updated screen to make it look all beautiful and all this. You can get these for way cheaper than that. So here's your solution. Now let's start with the cheapest. This right here is my Powkiddy V10. Let me lower the brightness. So what I like to do, I have a bunch of handhelds. I have handhelds all over. You walk in my living room and they're on the desk, they're on the coffee table, they're on my display, they're in my cabinet, they're everywhere. Okay? The ones on the coffee table are the ones I'm obviously using. Ones on the desk are ones I'm tweaking things on, and then display and in my storage are, ones I'm not currently using. So yeah, let's jump in. Sorry, I keep getting lost in thought. I'm thinking about something. You know how that shit. I don't script my videos, so sometimes I start to drift off there. So I have so many handhelds that I run into this issue of, like everybody else, I can't stick to a game. I can't stick to this. I want to play them. I want to beat them. And some of you guys have paid attention long enough to know I'm doing a game competition this year. It's not even a competition. I'm just absolutely destroying everybody. So with so many handhelds and game choices, I started taking handhelds that I don't necessarily carry every day and limiting the systems or games I put on them. For these, I've just limited the system. So for my Pal Kitty V10, which you can pick this thing up for $40 less if you look at places like eBay, Mercari, those other retailers, and get them from someone directly, you can pick this up dirt ass cheap, okay? And this is a great way to experience Game Boy Advance. Now, the V10 is a little funky because this plus and minus here, that's not volume. These are your function buttons. So if you've seen earlier, I held plus and was hitting down on the D-pad. That's my brightness. Left and right, that's my volume. Okay? So if you look through my V10, that's it. ArcOS, all games, favorites, Game Boy Advance. That's all I've done is only Game Boy Advance games on this because they look the best. The screen is that perfect ratio for Game Boy Advance, and it's cheap handheld. So let's jump into a game just to show it off. And if you're just getting into the GBA library and you're going to go down that road, this tiny thing, I mean, for that $40, they send you a case and cable too. You gotta love Pal Kitty, you know. Speakers are great on it. The screen is gorgeous for GBA. And let's be real. When it comes down to 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 15 times, 2,000 times resolution, it's only going to look so good, okay? Eventually, you can't tell the difference between 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, and it doesn't fucking matter. So there's no point in spending $230 on something when you can spend $30 on it, and it looks the same to you. So, also, you got to hold minus and hit that to bring up your RetroArch menu. The scheme here, the layout, the shortcuts and all that, I always forget them. If I put this away for a month, come back, pick it up, I have to sit there and fuck with it for a little while because I don't remember. And then I got to be like, okay, how do I do the brightness? How do I do the volume? Why is there not just a volume button? So aside from the stupidity of that, once you get used to the controls, this is a great everyday carry for how small it is. It's not even uncomfortable because of its width. Speakers are great. Let me go back into here. So I got to look around the camera. I need to fix RetroArch on this. Well, look at that. Just gorgeous. Now let's pick up volume. Volume going all the way. Alright, volume back down. Let's do brightness. Brightness going up till you can't see it. I mean, this thing gets very, very bright. I mean, not ridiculously slow. If I look around the camera, it looks fine to me. It's not too bright, but this is max. It's not too bright in a not very well lit room. It's not so bright it's hurting my eyes. And then the lowest point, it's dark enough that I might have to squint at this point and like get close to it to see what the hell it's saying. But through this camera, of course, I can see it looks wonderful. So, and then with your minus button, this is going to be your save state, load save state, see? And then hold that and hit R2. There you go. There's your fast forward. So that's your overall function. That's going to be save states or quick saves, fast forward, bring up your menu, and then plus is going to be your basic functions, brightness and volume. Okay. Now, this I have ArcOS loaded up on. I think it comes default with ArcOS. It's not the best, but it doesn't suck. It's perfectly fine. And if you're new to this, you won't know what else is out there. And even if you have an idea of what's out there, ArcOS is just fine. Also, you can hold minus and just hit start and hit start again. And that'll exit you out. So, and of course, you got different themes, display settings, and all that. For $40, getting into Game Boy Advance, I don't feel like there's much that can beat this. I mean, I know there's the Mii Mini, the Mini Plus, and all that horse shit. But I think this is the way to go. Entry-level GBA right here. Now, of course, if you don't know, I'll go ahead and run it down. You can play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, N64, all that shit. You can play that on here, okay? You're not going above that. Okay? No, you're not. So, I mean, buttons are a little clicky. I like having the little door there for the battery. A lot of space. You can put your weed in there. No, I'm kidding. Put this battery back. Anyway, and of course, you get your little light. On the top, on the go port, power, reset and power. On the go charging. Nothing on the left, nothing on the right, and on the bottom we got a 3.5 and a single SD card. So very simple handheld. And I always forget how much I really like this one. So $40, which I'll jump over to the website. Now, let's jump into this guy. This one, you're gonna be in that $60 range, all right? Let's see if I can go to settings and lower my brightness here. How about that? Is that a little more visible? Oh, no, not really. There we go. That's a little better. Now you can kind of see. All right. So this is your 34XX, your GBA look-alike from Anbernic. This will run you $60-$70, shipping, depending on where you are and all that good stuff. You hit other places, Mercari, eBay, you could probably snag one for 40. I'd say lowest one I've seen that functions perfectly, $30 to $50. Okay, and you could probably get free shipping. When it comes to this one, I don't just have GBA on it, and that's because I fell in love with this screen. I fell in love with the feel of this thing, the way it's laid out. I've talked about it a few times. This is the green meanie, dollar bill, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's very comfortable, feels just like your normal GBA. But of course you got the extra triggers back there, which I always go over this when I pull this out on my channel. But man, I really thought these were going to be a problem. I didn't think they'd be comfortable to hit. I thought they would be annoying, and they're just not. And it really surprised me because your hands just naturally rest there. And it's nice to have this little, I guess, shelf on the back to rest your hands on while you're playing, and you don't need these. So, and then having the GBA little plastic around the sides, that's really comfortable. Quick walk around, you got your 3.5 on the bottom, volume rocker, power, which this power button will get you. I don't know how many times I pick this up and I go, oh, not power. Oh, not power. That's right, power's down here. Start, select, speaker, nothing on the sides, because you get this little plastic thing here, and that's your little lanyard spot if you're curious. On the top, get your USB-C charging, HDMI out, both SD cards, and then you get a menu and a reset button, and then L2, R2, R1, R2, all that good shit. So, like I said, for this one, I fell in love with the screen. I like how they try to color match the X and Y up there. That way, if at a quick glance, it looks like it just has A and B. And I would still really like to see that in a handheld. Actually, I was looking into figuring out how to 3D print some blanks for this so I can get rid of X and Y. But I feel like that'll look odd with these way down here. And it's not uncomfortable, so I don't see it being a problem. Anyway. But, yeah, I like how they color match that. So at a glance, you don't really realize they're there. I mean, obviously they are, and you can see them. What looks like just a little plastic divider, and there's actually a Y and X. But I fell in love with this screen the more I used it. And after testing a bunch of different stuff, you know, Game Boy, all the Game Boys, Nintendo, all of it, I decided I like 2 systems on here, and you already seen them. So we have, obviously, Game Boy Advance. Love Game Boy Advanced on here. It feels comfortable, it feels right. It feels like you're just using a regular GBA, but you have a great screen, and you're skipping spending, you know, the $150, $200 for someone to rebuild you the classic GBA. I don't need to put a game card in it. It's just emulation, man. That's what it does. You're going to spend $60, but you're going to save how much and not having to... You should source your games legally. Anyway, you know my feelings on that. Come on, come on. I really need to set it up to where I don't have to hold anything to get fast forward going. I like it when I can just press it for GBA and Super Nintendo. Oh, but look how good. Oh man, I just got a glimpse of myself. I need to straighten up before I open up the office. I look like shit. I woke up late and I wanted to get a video out today, so I didn't really have time to do anything. Oh wow, look how bad I am. I mean, it just feels right on this. All right. Let's jump over to Super Nintendo. If you're new to the channel, this is pretty much how all my videos go. Like I said, I don't script them. I just kind of go with it. So sometimes, you know, I get lost in thought. Or I start ranting and raving about shit that has nothing to do with what the video should be about. That's what I do. Oh man, let's find something here. Let's do it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's do. Oh, I was thinking this was GBA. I was looking for Minish Cap for a second. I need to fix this for permanent, but I don't ever do it. There we go. Volume rocker. I like the little volume rocker. I wish it was just a wheel, but the little rocker is okay. You know, I've never used the 3.5 jack on this. On any of them, really. I might have to test that. Oh, I do not have an English version of it. Yeah. What mystical language is this? I'm gonna have to get, you know, I think it's part of the game. I gotta find a book. And then all of a sudden, I speak the language. You guys ever played Toomba? That part with the dwarves? As a kid, I thought that was the best shit ever. Running around the forest, jumping on little dwarves and biting them so I can learn their language. That was the... Oh my god, that game was amazing. If any of you have played Toomba for PlayStation 1, let me know, because that game was just ridiculous, but on top of that, it was a good ridiculous. God, look, Super Nintendo just looks right on this screen. I'm telling you, this one is built for GBA and Super Nintendo. I know it's like, what the hell? Why is this one not good for Super Nintendo? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it'll look fine on here, but it just feels better and looks better here. So this one is just my GBA device, and this one is my GBA and Super Nintendo device. I mean, it just looks great. But you know what? Like I said, I never tested the 3.5 jack. I know you can't hear it. That is really quiet. I mean, that's full volume in my ear. And, yeah. Not loud at all. Boo. Anyway. Okay, so let's do that. Ta-da! Bright as shit. So like I said, if you're just getting into this, and I know I kind of specifically targeted GBA, but if you want a cheaper handheld to tinker around with, and you're just getting into this stuff, these are good options kind of all around. Yes, I prefer these two for GBA and the other for GBA and Super Nintendo, and that's all I have on them, because sometimes it's good to just limit yourself, you know, see a little follow through with some gaming. But anyway, so for the V10, $40, when you see this little sell thing, don't ever think that's going to go away. Powkitty is forever on sale, but you can get this black with the blue buttons or purplish blue. I like that color. The purple, I always worry about buying any of these atomic purple like handhelds because the color is always really different in person, and I can't remember what that looks like in person, if it's darker or if it's more pink. I wanted the Super Nintendo, the little 16-bit color. I love this color on a lot of stuff, but I also do like the classic DMG, like that khaki, I guess is what they're calling it here. This also looks clean as hell. So, but yeah, I mean, $39.99, and like I said, you can get it cheaper if you hunt around other sites from somebody who has used one. You could probably snag it for 20 to 30 bucks. So moving over to the 34XX, $59.99. This is not always, not the same as Powkitty. In the US, shipping is 20 bucks anyway, or last time I looked it was. So $79.99. It's a little steep. And you should probably pick one up from eBay, Mercari, places like that, and save yourself the money. But it's still worth it if you buy it new. And I'm still digging the red. Sometimes I go back and forth like, man, should I have picked up the red one instead of the green one? But I didn't have a green handheld, and I don't really have a red handheld. But I really like green more than I like red. But then again, the red looks kind of good with the gray or the white, but so does the green. But what? Anyway, pick one, stick with it. I'm happy as shit with the green one. I'm just going to gloss over this one because it's new and it's a thing and it's out there. And this is the part where I said I might end with some complaints. Anbernic, you've never done me wrong. I'm a huge fan. Love your handhelds. Your last two are just, there's no excitement in these. It piques nothing. There's no interest in this for me. There's nothing that draws me to it. Not that it's not a good handheld or a nice handheld or it does everything it says. I'm sure it's absolutely wonderful. But I don't see the price. I mean, and I'm not talking like performance-wise or screen-wise. So before you go in the comments and say, are you kidding me? For $165, you get, this SoC and this screen and this performance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how I feel when I look at it. What draws me to that is nothing. It looks like the 2S. It looks like the 477M. It looks like. I mean, this is the result of a handheld gangbang right here. This is a handheld orgy, baby. This is where this came from. This is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It doesn't do it for me. And now we're on the cusp here, if you will, or the eve of the Ioneo Pocket Air Mini. Okay? $70 to $100. And it's going to change entry level, okay? If this goes the way it looks, and then they have a big enough stock, and the handheld's as good as it looks on paper, the Pocket Air the Pocket Air Mini is going to be the new entry level standard. There will be very little reason for $100 or less to grab anything else. if it's that good. And I'm going to do everything I can to get one for the channel. I will never get an early one. I will never get a reviewer model. I'm a fucking nobody. They don't know who I am. Anybody for any of those companies or any of the bigger, you know, people in this space, none of them have ever watched a video of mine, commented on a video of mine, and I'll continue to be a nobody. I'm okay with that. I'm just here to keep it real. Okay, I'm gonna give you honesty. Not that they don't. It's what I do. So yeah, they're never going to send me any review model. So I will always have to go through the same process as you. So if you're watching my channel ever to see a review on a handheld that has not come out yet, I will not have it. I will be right there with everybody else. Whenever it goes live, I will order it. After ordering, I will wait. So by the time you can get one in your hands, I will finally, maybe, of course with my luck with ordering shit lately, I will possibly have one in my hands and be ready to make a video on it. So if that situation's okay with you, if you're okay with waiting to see, which is always a safe bet, unless it's like super limited, and don't fall for that. I mean, sometimes it's not worth it. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, this doesn't do anything. Now, after I made the video talking about the Pocket Air, aside from the bullshit of the world's first thing, that night, I put on that 6-hour video, which the first, I think, hour of that video is just the slides of the Pocket Air Mini, like the 6 or 7 different ones repeated. And then they actually get into the live video, or the video there, and then the audio is all fucked up, so you're mainly just watching, which was fine. I was just watching it anyway. Watching that, I did the whole thing at 2 times speed, and sometimes I fast forward their stupid shit, but it looked amazing. That's going to be the new entry-level standard. Now, I know that they were like, oh, oops, here's the Pocket S Mini. We didn't mean to drop this, which was dumb. You're taking the spotlight away from that new entry-level handheld. By showing the Pocket S Mini, you just lost at least some orders for the Pocket Air Mini. Because now people are like, oh, a new one. Oh, a newer one. I'm going to wait for that. But that Pocket S from INEO, it does the same thing for me as this. It's whatever. It's a fucking, just a rectangle that plays games. Nothing attracts me to it. At all. But the Air Mini, if that works out, which INEO, they're normally the first run of handhelds, like the first orders, like my DMG and all that, they have problems. Overheating, batteries swelling, touch not working on some of them, a bad touch. Anyway, so take that what you will, but for $70 to $100, I'll fucking roll the dice for that price. No problem. I'm not gonna roll the dice on $200 if it's from a company that, you know, their track record is pretty shit. I'm not gonna do that. But $70 to $100 for a handheld that's gonna potentially be the new entry-level standard and change this industry, and it has the potential to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna take my chances on it. I'm excited for it. I'm sorry. Right now, number 1, super excited for the Thor. That is top of the list. I keep seeing pictures of the Thor. Holy shit. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Okay, I know I'm overhyping this so much that I'm gonna get it, and it's not, you know, but at the same time it's AYN, so it could exceed expectations. But everything I've watched on it, well, so good. Gives me a broner. Anyway, bro. I know, okay, I'm kidding. But second to that, the INEO Pocket Air Mini will be what's on my mind after the Thor. So, Thor, Pocket Air Mini Air Pocket, whatever. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Yep, we're going to end it there. So, entry level, great for GBA Super Nintendo. These are it. If you're just getting into this hobby, world, whatever, jump in. You're coming in at a good time. We are oversaturated. We have handhelds for everything that look like almost everything except an actual decent budget slide. Just slap a fucking H700 in a slider and make it smaller and less bulky than the last one. Anbernic, please. I know you're jumping in, or rumors about you getting involved in the whole DS war. Let that go, okay? Don't watch that fight happen. You don't need to step in. AYN's going to handle that. So, anyway, either of these, highly recommended by me. You can't go wrong. Now, once again, if you're new, last bit of advice that I think, you know how these go. I'll say this is the last, but then I'll keep going. When you get these, learn how to set up an SD card with a new, flashing a new operating system and everything, because typically the card they send you will probably die in a few months of use. If you ever turn on your anbernic handheld, or try to, and the light comes on but the screen doesn't, swap out your internal SD card, flash a new operating system, because that's what's causing that. You know what? I need to do a whole video on that. Anyway, all right, guys, wrapping it up. Let me know what you think in the comments about my rants and raves and stupid shit and whatnot. All right, see you next time.